Now, Tesla's stock has tumbled 8%, pushing its market value below $1 trillion for the first time since November.
For over a decade, Tesla was the undisputed king of electric cars. It set the standard, built the industry, and dominated the competition. But now, the cracks are showing, competition is rising, and Elon Musk is scrambling to respond. So what went wrong? What does this mean for the future of electric vehicles? And can Tesla recover before it's too late? From pricing mistakes and market shifts to China's aggressive expansion, Tesla's dominance is at serious risk. Stick with me to the end, because what happens next might just change the EV industry forever. What's happening? For the first time in history, Tesla is no longer the world's best-selling electric vehicle brand. Chinese automaker BYD overtook Tesla, delivering over 526,000 vehicles, compared to Tesla's 484,000. This was not just a one-time event or a statistical anomaly. It was the culmination of years of mounting competition, strategic missteps, and shifting industry dynamics. While Tesla struggled with production delays, supply chain issues, and pricing miscalculations, BYD was executing a master plan that had been in motion for years. Tesla's decline was not the result of a single catastrophic failure, but rather a series of smaller cracks that had been forming over time. These cracks, once seen as minor inconveniences, had finally weakened Tesla's grip on the market. The question now was not just how this happened, but whether Tesla could recover. How did a company once hailed as the future of transportation start to slip? The warning signs had been there for years. The complacency trap. Tesla revolutionized the industry with its long-range battery technology, powerful software integration, and direct-to-consumer sales model. Other automakers were constantly trying to catch up, but Tesla remained several steps ahead. However, success often breeds complacency. Tesla became too comfortable with its lead, assuming competitors would never match its technology or brand power. This overconfidence led to critical mistakes, including delays in launching new models, persistent production bottlenecks, and worsening quality control issues. One of the biggest signs of Tesla's complacency was its slow innovation cycle. While the Model S, Model 3, and Model Y dominated for years, Tesla failed to refresh its lineup quickly. Customers were left waiting for new designs and improvements that never came. Meanwhile, competitors like BYD, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and even Ford were rolling out new EV models at a rapid pace, offering more variety, better interiors, and improved pricing options. Another issue was Tesla's continued struggle with missed delivery targets. Customers grew frustrated with long wait times, unreliable timelines, and inconsistent build quality. Tesla's reputation for cutting-edge engineering began to fade, replaced by reports of panel gaps, software glitches, and malfunctioning driver assist features. Tesla also failed to adjust its pricing strategy in time. It relied on its premium brand positioning, assuming that buyers would continue paying a high price for Tesla vehicles, despite the increasing availability of more affordable alternatives. While competitors like BYD optimized costs and offered lower-priced EVs without sacrificing quality, Tesla's pricing remained high, until it was too late. Perhaps the most dangerous assumption Tesla made was that its brand loyalty alone would keep customers from leaving. In reality, the EV market was evolving rapidly, and Tesla was no longer the only option. Consumers wanted more affordable electric vehicles, and Tesla was too slow to adapt. While Tesla rested on its reputation, BYD was quietly executing a strategy that would change the EV industry forever. Tesla's worst nightmare. Western automakers dismissed Chinese EV companies as low quality and uncompetitive. Even Elon Musk himself once laughed off BYD, believing Tesla had nothing to worry about. However, while Tesla was focused on luxury, performance, and software, BYD was playing an entirely different game, one that Tesla was not prepared for. Instead of targeting high-end consumers, BYD focused on affordability and mass-market production. The company streamlined its manufacturing process, reduced costs, and built an efficient supply chain that Tesla could not match. Government support in China further boosted BYD's competitive advantage, allowing it to sell EVs at significantly lower prices while still maintaining strong profit margins. One of BYD's greatest strengths was its control over its own battery production. Unlike Tesla, which relied on third-party suppliers for batteries, BYD manufactured its own battery technology, ensuring lower costs and a more stable supply chain. This allowed BYD to expand rapidly across global markets, offering reliable EVs at lower prices, a combination that proved to be a game-changer. BYD's advantage was not just about price, it was also about scale. While Tesla struggled to meet production targets due to supply chain bottlenecks, BYD was producing EVs faster and cheaper, allowing it to dominate emerging markets and push into Tesla's strongholds. By the time 2023 ended, BYD's strategy had completely reshaped the EV industry. Tesla was no longer the only name in the game. It was now competing against an automaker that could produce more cars, sell them for less, and dominate multiple global markets at once. But it was not just BYD's success that sealed Tesla's fate. It was also Tesla's own mistakes that accelerated its downfall. Tesla's price war. In early 2023, Tesla launched an aggressive price-cutting strategy to maintain its market share. Some models saw price reductions of over 20%, a move intended to undercut competitors and boost sales. At first, it seemed like a smart strategy. Tesla's sales spiked as lower prices attracted new buyers. However, the long-term consequences were disastrous. The price cuts devalued Tesla's brand, frustrated existing customers, and wiped out profit margins. Customers who had purchased Teslas at full price just months earlier were furious when they saw their cars lose significant resale value overnight. Many even canceled their orders, expecting more price cuts in the future. Meanwhile, lawsuits and complaints started piling up, with some buyers accusing Tesla of unfair pricing tactics. To make matters worse, Tesla's price war failed to eliminate competition. Instead, BYD and other automakers responded with price cuts of their own, neutralizing Tesla's advantage. Unlike Tesla, which was already struggling with rising production costs, BYD was able to reduce prices without sacrificing profitability. In the end, Tesla's price cuts exposed a deeper problem. The company was no longer leading the EV industry. It was reacting to competitors instead of setting the pace. But Tesla's real Achilles heel was not just pricing. It was a supply chain disaster waiting to happen. Tesla's strength turned weakness. Tesla's gigafactories were supposed to be the backbone of its electric vehicle empire. By controlling its own high-tech manufacturing facilities, the company aimed to cut costs, boost efficiency, and maintain quality. The idea was simple: eliminate dependency on external suppliers, mass-produce vehicles at an unprecedented scale, and create an infrastructure that no competitor could replicate. For a while, the strategy worked. Tesla revolutionized EV production, setting benchmarks for automation and battery integration. However, as the industry evolved and supply chains were stretched thin, Tesla's biggest strength became its greatest liability. Gigafactories require a steady flow of raw materials, and when the global supply chain crisis hit, Tesla's centralized model became a bottleneck rather than an advantage. Shortages in chips, lithium, and other crucial materials created massive delays, forcing the company to cut production targets. Meanwhile, competitors that had more flexible production models, such as BYD and Hyundai, were able to adapt faster. Additionally, Tesla's rapid expansion meant that new gigafactories in Germany and Texas were launched before they were fully optimized. Reports of production inconsistencies, logistical inefficiencies, and labor disputes surfaced, further straining Tesla's ability to keep up with demand. Instead of solving its production issues, these factories created new problems, slowing output and increasing costs. At this point, Tesla was no longer an agile startup. It was struggling like an aging automaker, weighed down by its own rigid supply chain. But supply issues were only the beginning. As Tesla scrambled to fix production delays, an even bigger problem emerged: its over-reliance on third-party suppliers. The supply chain crisis. Unlike BYD, which manufactures its own batteries, Tesla sourced its battery cells from third-party manufacturers like Panasonic, LG, and CATL. This meant that Tesla was at the mercy of external supply chains, making it vulnerable to cost fluctuations, shortages, and delays. As global demand for electric vehicle batteries skyrocketed, Tesla found itself competing against other automakers for limited resources. Battery prices soared, squeezing Tesla's profit margins and creating additional delays. Meanwhile, competitors like Ford, Volkswagen, and Hyundai were aggressively investing in their own battery production, reducing their dependence on third-party suppliers. Tesla also suffered from over-reliance on China for critical materials. Over 70% of the world's lithium processing happens in China, making it nearly impossible for Tesla to secure a stable, cost-effective supply without dealing with geopolitical risks. As tensions between the United States and China escalated, Tesla's dependence on Chinese battery suppliers became an unstable and costly problem. Compounding the issue, Tesla's decision to vertically integrate many of its processes meant that any disruption in one part of the supply chain could cripple the entire production line. Unlike BYD, which had multiple battery production facilities, Tesla was locked into contracts with a handful of key suppliers, limiting its ability to adjust when shortages hit. While other automakers diversified their supply chain strategies, Tesla remained vulnerable to shifting trade policies, material price hikes, and logistical setbacks. The company was facing an uphill battle, and even Tesla's biggest supporters began to question its ability to sustain long-term growth. But Tesla's supply chain issues weren't just about batteries. They also exposed an even bigger weakness: Tesla's fading technological lead. The fading technological edge. Tesla's full self-driving and autopilot software was once seen as the future of driving. Elon Musk had long promised that Tesla vehicles would become fully autonomous, making human drivers obsolete. Early on, Tesla's autopilot features gave it a massive edge over competitors, attracting tech-savvy buyers and setting Tesla apart from traditional automakers. However, as time passed, the reality of Tesla's self-driving technology failed to match the hype. Regulatory roadblocks, safety concerns, and high-profile crashes led to multiple lawsuits and government investigations. In the United States, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration launched multiple probes into Tesla's self-driving failures, further damaging its reputation. Meanwhile, companies like Waymo, Cruise, and even BYD were developing more advanced driver assistance technologies. Unlike Tesla, which relied on camera-based systems, Waymo and Cruise used LiDAR and radar-based technologies, which proved to be more reliable in real-world conditions. As a result, Tesla's self-driving software, once seen as cutting-edge, now looked outdated. Additionally, Tesla's over-the-air updates often introduced new glitches, leading to unexpected braking issues, phantom stops, and erratic lane changes. These problems made headlines, raising concerns about the safety and reliability of Tesla's software. Once the undisputed leader in autonomous vehicle technology, Tesla was now struggling to keep up. The company had focused too much on bold promises rather than delivering tangible improvements, and competitors were closing the gap fast. But the problems didn't stop there. Tesla was also falling behind in new vehicle development, leaving customers frustrated with outdated models. The delayed Tesla models. When Tesla first launched the Model S, it was a revolutionary vehicle that redefined what an electric car could be. The Model 3 followed, making EVs more accessible to the mainstream market. However, Tesla has not significantly updated its lineup in years, and customers are starting to notice. While competitors like BYD, Volkswagen, and Hyundai continue to roll out new models, Tesla has failed to deliver on key promises. The Cybertruck, Roadster, and the much-anticipated Model 2 have faced years of delays, leaving potential buyers frustrated and impatient. The Cybertruck, first announced in 2019, was supposed to be a game-changer in the pickup market, but production setbacks, design revisions, and supply chain issues have kept it in limbo for years. The affordable Model 2, which was expected to dominate the entry-level EV market, is still nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, Tesla's existing lineup is aging. The Model 3 and Model Y, which still make up the majority of Tesla's sales, have received only minor updates since their launch. Customers looking for better interiors, new features, and more affordable options are turning to competitors who offer more variety and innovation. This stagnation in Tesla's lineup is a major risk. In the automotive industry, staying ahead means constantly evolving, and Tesla is losing ground. New entrants like Rivian, Lucid, and NIO are bringing fresh designs and next-generation technology to the market, challenging Tesla's dominance in ways unimaginable just a few years ago. The problem is clear. Tesla is no longer setting the pace for the industry. The lack of new models, combined with supply chain struggles and fading technological leadership, is pushing Tesla further behind in the EV race. But Tesla's troubles didn't stop with production and innovation. There was another major issue that was becoming impossible to ignore: Elon Musk himself, the Twitter distraction. Elon Musk's bold decisions and ambitious promises made Tesla more than just an automaker. It became a movement. But in 2022, Musk made a decision that sent shockwaves through the business world. He purchased Twitter for an eye-watering $44 billion, shifting his focus away from Tesla at the worst possible time. Tesla investors were immediately concerned. The electric vehicle market was entering its most competitive phase yet, and instead of steering Tesla through the storm, Musk was consumed with his new social media empire. He spent months restructuring Twitter, firing executives, implementing controversial policies, and engaging in online debates that had little to do with Tesla or its future. Meanwhile, Tesla's stock plummeted, losing billions in market value as investors worried about Musk's divided attention. It wasn't just the financial world that took notice. Tesla employees, already under pressure due to production issues and supply chain disruptions, felt abandoned by their leader. Musk's hands-on approach at Tesla had once been an asset, helping drive the company's innovation and efficiency. But now Tesla was navigating massive production bottlenecks, pricing instability, and growing competition. Without its CEO fully engaged, customers also began to feel the shift. Tesla's brand had long been synonymous with Musk, but as his public persona became increasingly polarizing, many began reconsidering their loyalty. Some customers canceled their orders, while others took to social media to express frustration over Tesla's declining service quality, delayed vehicle updates, and lack of new models. Tesla's competitors seized the moment. While Musk was preoccupied with Twitter, companies like BYD, Hyundai, and Volkswagen aggressively expanded their electric vehicle offerings, capturing Tesla's lost momentum. By the time Musk started refocusing on Tesla, the damage was already done. But Musk's personal controversies were only part of the problem. Tesla was now facing an even bigger threat: China's EV dominance. Tesla's early dominance was built on a technological edge and first-mover advantage. But in the background, China was quietly building an EV empire. Today, China controls 70% of global battery production and dominates EV supply chains like no other country. While Tesla was revolutionizing electric vehicles, China was securing the raw materials, manufacturing capacity, and government support needed to take over the industry. BYD, NIO, XPeng, and other Chinese automakers have grown at an unprecedented rate, flooding the global market with affordable, high-quality EVs. What makes these companies particularly dangerous to Tesla is their vertical integration. They control everything from battery production to final assembly, making their costs significantly lower than Tesla's. BYD even produces its own batteries, something Tesla still relies on external suppliers for. The Chinese government has played a crucial role in this expansion. Generous subsidies, incentives for local EV buyers, and infrastructure investments have allowed Chinese automakers to grow at a speed Western companies simply cannot match. Tesla, despite being one of the best-selling brands in China, is now struggling to maintain its position. With stricter regulations, trade restrictions, and increasing Chinese competition, Tesla's foothold in its most important international market is at risk. Tesla's over-reliance on Chinese supply chains is another major problem. Although Tesla has a gigafactory in Shanghai, it still depends heavily on Chinese suppliers for batteries, semiconductors, and raw materials. This puts the company in a vulnerable position. One geopolitical conflict, supply chain disruption, or policy shift from the Chinese government could severely impact production. Meanwhile, Chinese automakers are aggressively expanding into Tesla's key markets, including Europe and North America. With their lower-cost production and increasingly advanced technology, brands like BYD are offering better value for money, forcing Tesla to lower prices to compete, further cutting into its profits. While Tesla struggles to compete with China, another competitor is waiting in the shadows: legacy automakers. The rise of legacy automakers. Companies like Ford, Volkswagen, and Hyundai were slow to adapt, often seen as lagging behind in the electric revolution. But that perception has now changed. Legacy automakers have finally caught up. with billions invested in EV research, battery technology, and production capacity. Companies that once relied on gas-powered vehicles are now producing some of the most competitive electric cars on the market. Ford has seen massive success with the Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning, bringing Tesla-level innovation to mainstream buyers. Volkswagen, through its ID series, has quickly scaled up EV production, leveraging its massive manufacturing infrastructure. Hyundai and Kia have introduced models like the Ioniq 5 and EV6, which have been praised for their range, design, and charging speeds, outperforming some Tesla models in key areas. Tesla's early advantage in range and performance is no longer a unique selling point. Legacy automakers now offer similar or better battery efficiency, faster charging, and more luxury features, often at a lower price. Tesla also faces growing competition in customer service and reliability. Unlike Tesla, which operates with a direct-to-consumer sales model, legacy brands have established dealership networks, making repairs, servicing, and warranties more accessible. Some buyers who once saw Tesla as the only EV option are now turning to trusted automakers that offer better long-term support. Meanwhile, Tesla's aging lineup is another issue. With competitors releasing new models every year, Tesla's Model 3 and Model Y, which still dominate its sales, are starting to feel outdated. While companies like Volkswagen and Hyundai are offering fresh designs and cutting-edge tech, Tesla has been slow to update its vehicles, relying instead on software updates to keep them relevant. With all these factors working against Tesla, the question remains: what happens next? Can Tesla survive? Despite its challenges, Tesla isn't dead yet. It still leads in brand recognition, charging infrastructure, and software innovation. But if it wants to remain dominant, it must adapt fast. There are three critical areas Tesla needs to fix immediately. First, it must expand its lineup. Tesla cannot rely on the same few models forever. The company must introduce new vehicles that cater to different price points, including the long-promised affordable Model 2. Second, Tesla must fix its supply chain vulnerabilities. Instead of relying on Chinese suppliers, Tesla needs to diversify its production, ramp up battery manufacturing, and secure its own raw materials sources. Third, the company must refocus on innovation. Tesla must regain its technological edge, particularly in battery efficiency, self-driving capabilities, and charging speeds. Its 4,680 battery technology and full self-driving software need to deliver on their long-standing promises. The next few years will determine Tesla's fate. If the company successfully navigates these challenges, it could reclaim its lead and remain the face of the EV revolution. But if it fails to adapt, Tesla risks becoming just another automaker, overtaken by BYD, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and future competitors. But Tesla isn't the only company facing major shifts. Other automakers have fallen before. What can Tesla learn from history? General Motors EV1. In the late 1990s, General Motors introduced the EV1, a car that could have changed automotive history. The EV1 was the first mass-produced electric vehicle by a major automaker, offering futuristic design, strong consumer interest, and a vision of an all-electric future. At a time when gas prices were low and public demand for electric cars was uncertain, General Motors took an unprecedented step forward. However, despite the EV1's technological promise, it never reached its full potential. General Motors canceled the program in the early 2000s, citing high production costs, limited profitability, and a lack of charging infrastructure. Instead of refining and expanding the project, General Motors recalled and crushed nearly all EV1s, effectively killing what could have been the start of the electric revolution. This decision turned into one of the biggest miscalculations in automotive history. By abandoning the EV1, General Motors left the door wide open for a new player, Tesla. In the 2000s, Elon Musk's startup capitalized on the void left behind, proving that electric vehicles could be profitable technologically advanced, and desirable to consumers. Tesla built what General Motors failed to nurture, and it became the undisputed leader in the EV industry for more than a decade. But now, history may be repeating itself, this time with Tesla as the company at risk. Like General Motors in the 90s, Tesla was once an industry pioneer, but its lead is shrinking as competitors advance in technology, affordability, and innovation. If Tesla fails to adapt, improve production efficiency, and expand its lineup, it could face the same fate as General Motors EV1, left behind as others take control of the market. But Tesla is not the only automaker at risk. History has shown that even the most dominant companies can fall when they refuse to innovate. Ford's Model T monopoly. In the early 1920s, Ford was the undisputed leader of the automotive industry, controlling more than 50% of the U.S. car market. The Model T was a revolutionary vehicle, affordable, reliable, and mass-produced using the first-ever assembly line. It transformed personal transportation and cemented Ford as the most powerful automaker in the world. But by the 1930s, Ford's dominance began to crumble. The biggest reason was its failure to evolve. While competitors like General Motors and Chrysler introduced new designs, improved comfort, and multiple model choices, Ford clung to the Model T for far too long. The company assumed that its early success would last forever, ignoring changing consumer demands. As a result, General Motors overtook Ford in sales, and the once unbeatable Model T became obsolete. Tesla now finds itself in a similar situation. While Tesla revolutionized the EV industry, its lineup has barely changed over the past decade. The Model 3 and Model Y still dominate Tesla's sales, while competitors introduce newer, more advanced, and more affordable models at a rapid pace. Companies like BYD, Volkswagen, and Hyundai are giving consumers more options, better interior quality, and superior affordability, challenges Tesla is struggling to match. If Tesla follows Ford's old strategy of sticking to a limited product line, delaying innovation, and failing to diversify its market, it could suffer the same fate. Tesla needs fresh designs, improved interiors, and lower-cost models to stay ahead of the competition. The Cybertruck and Roadster delays have already caused frustration among consumers, and waiting too long to innovate could be Tesla's biggest mistake. But Tesla's challenges go beyond just its own decisions. The global EV market is evolving rapidly, and the competition is fiercer than ever. So, with all these challenges stacking up, what does the future hold for Tesla? Can it reclaim its lead, or is its time at the top coming to an end? Is this the end of Tesla's dominance? Tesla is still a major player in the EV industry, but the days of unchallenged dominance are over. BYD has already outsold Tesla, global automakers are catching up, and new EV startups are filling the gaps Tesla once controlled. Tesla's biggest challenge is not just competition, it is its own ability to adapt. The company must expand its vehicle lineup with affordable and diverse models. It needs to fix production inefficiencies to avoid supply chain disruptions. It has to refine its self-driving technology to stay ahead of competitors. And most importantly, it must improve its pricing strategy to compete with BYD and Volkswagen. Tesla still has an incredible brand reputation, strong charging infrastructure, and technological expertise, but it can no longer rely on past success alone. If it fails to innovate and evolve, it risks becoming just another automaker fighting for relevance, just like Ford in the 1930s or General Motors in the early 2000s. So, what do you think? Can Tesla reclaim its place at the top, or will it continue to lose ground in the global EV war? Drop your thoughts in the comments.